They don't learn. They don't. The two players we're going to be talking about in today's video made a huge mistake. And going into this video, I was going to label it as a hot take, but after doing some research and thinking about it, it's not a hot take, it's the right take. They messed up. It's point blank and simple, and we've seen it time and time after again, and I still can't believe players continue to make this mistake. I don't know if they're not paying attention to the players ahead of them that are doing the same thing, but eventually you would think the players would start to open their eyes. Not even as a basketball fan, but from a personal standpoint, it really irritates me because they're missing out on millions of dollars. It's almost like they're shooting themselves in the foot. For example, it's almost like somebody has a path to $5 million and there's another path to $2 million, and the $2 million path is way harder and they still choose that one. It's not going to be impossible for them to achieve their dreams, but it got much harder. There's a lot to it, and this has been and will continue to be one of the most controversial and highly heated topics of all time, at least for basketball players. So without further ado, if you're new to the channel and not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, really helps me out. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Now without further ado, let's get into this mess. Alrighty, this topic actually goes hand in hand with a topic we talked about 2 to 3 days ago, and that video was titled, "This Just Ruined Their Chances at Getting Drafted." If you want to go check out that video after this one, you can, but basically we just talked about Daishen Nix and Isaiah Todd. I have to bring that up because it does go hand in hand with this video, so if you did watch it, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with everything I said in that video. I'm just going to touch on the main points real quick. Long story short, Daishen Nix and Isaiah Todd were 5-star recruits in high school, and they were projected to be top NBA picks. Most people were saying they were going to be first-round picks if they would have went to college. But they didn't go to college. They decided to go to the G League with their buddy known as Jalen Green. And that decision right there is what I like to call a short-term W. Me personally, I play the long game. I know what you're thinking. Yo Matt, what are you talking about a short-term W? To answer that question, if those two players would have decided to go to college, they wouldn't have made any money. But with going to the G League, they were paying them around $250 to $500K. At first, and from that standpoint, it sounds great because they're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's changing their lives and probably their families' lives. I remember when they decided to make that decision over a year ago, I thought it was the wrong move, and it turned out to be the wrong move. Yes, they got thousands of dollars, whereas if they would have went to college, they wouldn't have got any money. They had to pay the ultimate sacrifice though. They dropped in the NBA draft a ton. Going into the G League and college, both players were projected to be first-round picks. Whereas now, some people don't even have Daishen Nix getting drafted, and most people barely got Isaiah Todd going in the second round. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt though. Let's say both players get picked in the second round. I hate to rain on your parade, but some of you are very misinformed. When you're talking about the NBA and NFL and even Major League Baseball draft, there is a huge difference from getting drafted in the first and second round. If Nix and Todd do get selected in the second round, most people would say that's a W, but no. Even if they do get drafted in the second round, and that's the best thing that could happen, they're going to get a couple million dollars. Whereas if they were a lottery pick or a first round pick like they were projected to be going into the G League or college, they would have got tens of millions of dollars. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the long-term W. They were playing the short game, at least in my opinion. Every time I talk about a touchy situation like this, I also have to bring this up. I don't know everything that's going on in their life with personal reasons, because I do know some of these players struggle and they have to take the money. Here's my argument with that situation, because I know some of you are going to bring it up in the comments. If you were poor for 20 years and your mom was poor for 20 years, what's it to wait just one more to make $5+ million more dollars? Yeah, things were sweet. You got the $250K from the G League, but at what price? You put your NBA and basketball career on the line, because even if you do get drafted in the second round, that's not even guaranteeing playing time. I don't even want to get started in talking about what's going to happen if they go undrafted, because you know how that G League mess works. time and time again, I have said it that the G League is a death spiral. Once you get in, it's almost impossible to get out. I know that was a lot, but I had to say all of that to lead me into this. Every single player that has chosen the G League route over the college route has seen their draft stock take a hit. From Jalen Green to Daishen Nix to Isaiah Todd, and even Kyrie Walker. He didn't play for the G League, but he joined a training program, and he's probably not even going to get drafted, whereas if he would have went to college, he may have had a better shot. We're not going to talk about Mr. Kyrie though, because that's a different video for a different day. Right there, I named 4 players in the past year that saw a decrease in their draft stock because of the G League, and I need to emphasize that so you understand it. So therefore, theoretically, let's say me and you, we are hoopers and we're just now graduating high school, and we just saw what happened to 4 of those great players. Well, for me, I can't speak for you, but I would be really concerned about that, and I would more than likely go to college. Even if I was in a terrible living situation and environment, I could do it for 1 more year to make tens of millions of more dollars. I think we can all agree on that. I know there's going to be some oddballs that are going to say, no, I'd take the $250K, and well, you're just weird and I don't understand you. Anyways, moving on with this video, the class of 2021, all those players are starting to make their decisions. And per usual, almost 99% of them are going to college, but there are these 2 players we're going to focus on that aren't going to college. The main characters of this video go by the name of Jaden Hardy and Mike Foster. Jaden is a 5-star recruit and the 2nd best overall player in the entire country, and he's fantastic. You could go on and on about this kid. Coming in at roughly 6'4" and 185 pounds, he has a great body build, he gets bigger and stronger every year, and he may be one of the best tough shot makers that the high school level has ever seen. His tag team duo for this video, Mike Foster, is also a 5-star recruit and the 7th best overall player. Foster is considered a power forward. He comes in at roughly 6'8" and 215 pounds. He could play the center position if needed to, but most people think he's a power forward. I'm not going to sit up here and bore you and talk about their game. They're good/great. That's all you need to know. You don't get ranked in the top 10 of the ESPN rankings for no reason. You're one of the best at what you do. Hardy didn't even play his senior season because of the whole virus situation, but for his junior year, he has mind-boggling stats. He averaged over 30 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. As a junior, it doesn't get much better than that. I love his game. He's an outstanding player, and I wish he would have played his senior year because I wanted to see what he could do. On the other hand, for Mike Foster, for his senior season, he averaged a whopping 32.2 points per game and 18.4 rebounds. Yes, those stats are correct. I guess you could go on a limb here and say these 2 players, they're not that bad. Obviously, you know where this is going. Both of these players in the past couple of months have decided and announced that they're not going to college and they're going to join the G League Ignite, which is the same thing that all the players I already talked about in this video have done. And oh yeah, before I forget, I know I left out Jonathan Kuminga, but that's another example. He went to the G League and his stock has somewhat went down. Not crazy, but it's gone down a little. You can save this video, mark it down, do whatever you want, come back to it in a year, and I'm gonna be right. Their draft stock is gonna go down after this G League season. For Jaden Hardy, I think it's gonna be a very similar situation to Jalen Green. He's not going to go down a lot, but it's going to be maybe 3 to 4 or even 5 spots. I'm more worried for Mike Foster because I feel like he's in a weird position. He's not crazy tall, but he's not really that skilled enough to be a shooting guard or a small forward. I think he's going to be just fine, but centers and power forwards, they don't get love like they used to. One thing to note and keep in mind too is that both of these players average 30 points per game at their high school, and that's not going to happen in the G League. The reason I think this is a very big mistake is, let's look at this. If Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green would have switched positions, who do you think would have been the #1 pick? If Green goes to Oklahoma State and balls out, I guarantee you he'd be the #1 pick, no doubt. I don't even like saying this because I feel like we've repeated it over and over in multiple videos, but it's the truth and it's fairly simple. The only, and I mean the only reason going to the G League is a terrible decision compared to college is because of exposure. If you go to college, you're going to get more exposure, especially if you play in the March Madness. And if you think that has nothing to do with it, you're completely wrong. If Jalen Suggs would have went to the G League, there is no way he'd even be a top 10 pick. I promise you that. I'm not knocking Suggs, he's a good/great player, but they got him going so high, and some of them got him going ahead of Jalen Green, which I think is absurd, and we've already talked about that. I have to look at it from both standpoints, and I do get it, it's fast and quick money, but like we stated, is it worth missing out on millions and millions of dollars? I don't think so. I know some people are going to disagree with me, and I'm going to leave you with this. Every player that has chosen this G League route, they haven't seen their draft stock gone up. But players that go to college, they do. We see players ball out in 1 year and they go skyrocketing up draft boards. Another great example that I'm going to use for this video, and it really has no correlation, but that's Tre Mann. If you don't know Tre Mann, get used to his name. Last year, nobody had him on any of the mock draft boards. He had a terrible freshman season at Florida, and even he would tell you that. But in his most recent year, which was his sophomore season, he balled out, got way better, and now they got him projected to go in the top 20. So in the span of 8 to 10 months, he went from undrafted to going up to number 18 or 19. That's crazy. Do you think that would happen if he was in the G League? Absolutely not. What I'm trying to say is that if you go to college and have a terrible freshman or even a sophomore year, you can make up for it in just one season. We've seen it happen. In the G League though, if you have a bad season and you're supposed to be a great player, they already write you off. We're not even talking about a basketball decision anymore. We're talking about a business decision. It's not smart. It's not. It's so risky. It really is. I feel like going to college, it's such a traditional and paved pathway, and I know players want to start their own trend, but sometimes it's not too bad just following the wave. We saw Jalen Green average roughly 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot almost 37% from the three-point line, and his stock went down. How? That makes 0 sense. He played better than Cade Cunningham against better competition, and Cade's still the lock for the #1 pick. It's almost like the NBA is punishing these kids for choosing a different path. This is another situation to keep your eyes on. I know most of you know Jaden Hardy, but a lot of you don't know Mike Foster. I think Jaden's going to be okay, but for Foster, I don't know, it's questionable because he hasn't made a huge name for himself just yet, especially on the social media side, and if you think that doesn't matter, you're also wrong. I'm wishing these two players the best of luck, and I hope they continue to see a lot of success in their basketball career. I think they will, I'm just a little worried. This is a controversial and heated topic. Let me know your thoughts down below, but with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.